think we're playing them again. All right. This ensures Nessus.
One pulse and shotgun, another Aeronis Valve, and a hand cannon. And last one, Luna's Helm, a sniper.
Yep.
OEM.
Okay. I'm gonna go down snipe lane.
Yeah, I'll go as well.
No one yet.
Heading in. Got one on my radar.
Okay, we got in shrine. There's a smoke.
Yeah, I've got one half shields in tunnel.
Nice cleanup.
What?
If we got the win,
Okay.
yeah, that's a.
I'm gonna hit Inspire.
Yep. One middle, Invis Hunter. Oh shit. Moving to team, trying to move to teammate. Covering the body.
Going through
Loading.
tunnel. I'm in cave.
Got the one. One coming to tunnel or cave. Sorry, cave. Towards you. Did you get him?
Damn it. Oh.
Tunnel. Tagged him. Bodied one. Got the one in tunnel. Oh, you got him. Nice. Got the other one.
Covering our flank. Pushing with y'all.
Yep. I'm weak. I'm weak. Oh, come on. I'll take it. So watch down mid, Invis Hunter last time.
I'm gonna go to the back side of cave.
Okay, he's not there. Tunnel, or a tunnel. Oh. I'm getting sniped. Get out of the way.
Been through Spire, coming back. Okay.
He missed that headshot.
I tried to push you.
Yeah, it was like, oh, I'm just watching the snipe light. Did I get you with it?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, I'm pushing. I'm on your
Coming
6.
towards B. Got one.
I'm jumping over. Hop up, hop up, hop up. Back. He's way in the back.
Down.
Nice. Oh, you're doing the cowbell.
If I see an opportunity, I'm just gonna use my super.
Okay. Oh, one switched to a bow. Wish Ender. He popped a super in tunnel. Come on, teammate. Oh, he got the res.
All those was. There you go. Dude, that was smart. He got my res.
Why can't I get it? There. Aw. Oh, that's right. I'm team lead. Oh, did they change the background for the map? What? That looked really dark.
What do you mean?
Oh, okay. Never mind. Some of the colors went weird there for a second. Like when I loaded into the destination map, it looked super dark. Unless that was just my eyes playing tricks on me. Which I'll find out. No, it looked super dark. It was actually really cool. I'm telling you, man.
So, you're gonna be on around this time on Friday, next Friday?
Oh yeah, definitely, yeah. Yeah, 10. Thank God it's next Friday, not this Friday, because that would suck ass for me. I got obligations for other things that I have to attend.
Mm-hmm.
Oh. Wormhaven. Pacifica. Or sorry, Pacific. Oh, this isn't a bad map for this loadout.
Ooh, shit. Let me switch. Oh no, shotgun.
I went with Duke and Badlanders with quick draw. I'm gonna go low.
I'll watch high.
I'm invis. No one's outside. 90 to the head, 90 to the Domski.
Got one on the rift.
Another one's going around. Nice. Okay, man, he just pushed like a beast. I did nothing except for.
What the heck? How'd I get no kills?
It's okay. I only got a bit of damage, so at least you got a chance. I'm gonna go outside, invis. No one's here. Doesn't look like it.
Yeah, they're up on their side of the platform. One left. Oh, that's unfortunate.
Got him. Hey, I got one. Yay. This loadout actually isn't that bad because at range it still does really good damage. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's just up close, which is where the Badlander comes in. Outside. One went right, weak. On me.
Coming to you.
I figured that was the opportunity to push. Since you were in the doorway. Okay, so we got heavy this round. I'm gonna go low with it. One low.
I went low.
At least one low.
Yep. Grabbing heavy.
Nice grab. Did he go all the way to the back?
Yeah. You want to pick us off?
I don't know what happened there.
I think he used Celestial Fire, then got an overshield, killing me.
Oh no, that popped him point blank and then he lived. The first round. Oh, this isn't a bad loadout. High, mid looks like.
They switched to Marty.
Yep. What? Oh, you damn. Oh, there's one bounty completed.
Check out my old-fashioned.
Let's see. If you got a God rolled old fashioned, I'm gonna cry. Oh my god. Oh, that's the old fashioned I wanted. Mostly just for consistency purposes.
Yeah, I noticed that.
I want it as a cleanup for body shotting with snipers. And because you have the handling masterwork, that'll give you somewhere around 75, 80 handling. But I mean, quick draw I think maxes it out, so.
Yeah, and it's like already super snappy.
Yeah.
Like,
I think I don't even know what I would have for a masterwork on that.
I would say just the ability or handling to make that snap speedy faster.
I thought quick draw maxes that out though.
Oh, the aim outside speed.
Oh yeah, good point. Yeah. I want to try this loadout again. I don't know. I kind of like this loadout. Duke and shotgun. I feel like it'll be very competitive. Midtown, 50-50.
Yeah. Gonna snipe.
Yeah, I'm gonna switch to a sniper on this. I'll keep Duke, but I agree, switch to sniper.
All three are sniping. One has
Probably a beloved and a whatever the hell it is.
one has a kindled orchid with a kill clip and explosive rounds.
I'm gonna come to you.
Nothing yet. Rugs.
I'm invis. I'm
Where's
going
teammate?
around to their corner. Well,
Teammate's
on me. He's
okay.
hard scoping me.
Bodied him.
Got the one. Bodied him. I'm going up top. Nice, nice. I don't have any scavs on because I have enhanced sniper and hand cannon dexterity on.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm going for that quick because I don't have quick draw on either of my weapons. I'm going up top to rugs. On me? Ooh, buddy. Ooh,
Coming,
buddy.
coming.
I'm. Oh, damn, that's not where I want it.
I got tagged.
Tagged for 139. Oh, am I sick? Am I left? Oh, damn it. I should have just ran out. Nice grenade. You got this, you got this. He's getting the... Okay, nice. Oh, damn. He's gonna go for the other res. Oh my god, that's bro. You're cracked, man. Oh my god. Okay, they're hard scoping.
Never mind, I have to throw this around.
Got the one.
Never mind.
Oh, ooh, buddy. He's weak, he's weak. Oh, no, they're hard scoping my body. Hard scoping my body. He's going for the res. As much as the Duke is nice. Okay. They got one on the point. One watching the point from afar. On your right.
Yeah, you're the bag. I had y'all.
Oh, why you fuck. Okay. Like, I mean, how many snipes did you get on them?
So many.
That's it. Just push down middle and fuck them hard. Oh, I missed. I missed.
I'm gonna go around.
He's scoping corner. He went around the backside. Backing out, backing out.
Yep.
I'm invis.
I traded. They're getting res. Try to push me.
Oh,
Yep.
damn it. I didn't know where I could push you. I was on the wrong side for it. How did he hit me?
That's okay. Mm. Heavy round. They have another bomb.
Bodied. Oh. Going for the res. Oh. Nice, nice, nice. He's up top. Nice grab.
How did he die?
Grenade. Spike grenade. He put the spike grenade and he couldn't move before he was taking too much damage. Which I think is stupid on that res. It should not... You shouldn't have that big of a delay in your movement.
Let's go courtyard.
Oh, bodied. I was bodied.
Rotate.
I bodied one.
Yeah, yes, just rotate. Gonna go through the mid. Back towards rugs.
Yep, I'm on your 6.
Got one. Gonna go around.
I'm watching. Oh man, he's right there. They're going for the res.
Damn.
Yeah. God damn.
Shots are off.
It's all good. All good.
Dang, teammate hasn't got one kill yet.
Nope.
I'm gonna jump up top here.
I'm gonna go around to... Bodied. Oh man, what? They're watching my body, There's one...
Almost had. That's okay.
I got double bodied. Unfortunately.
Mm-hmm. Shit. Got a rip in mid.
Got the one up top. Oh no, he's going for the res.
Dang it.
Why can't I get into a gunfight? Damn it. Keep getting fucked.
Did teammate get one kill? what was his loadout?
I don't know.
He just used the thorn and the sniper. Why were you pushing so hard? Jesus. We need a third so bad.
No, that's right. Lunatal, Arbalist, Hunter. Not Invis. Dire Promise, Beloved, Hunter, Arc. Arbalist, Not Forgotten, Solar Warlock. I just feel like I'm gonna get headshot by those Arbalists all day. Watch out left. Bodied the one.
He's down. One in mid. He's going towards you.
I got the.
He's up top. High in the air. He's weak.
Oh, what the? Got him. On me.
I'm coming to you.
I can't. Oh my god, I was trying to throw a smoke and it lunged me. Fuck, I wish there was a separate ability for. A separate button for melee ability that you could set up. Because I would have loved to have thrown the smoke there. The one sitting at the back going for the res. I missed.
Dang it. I pushed him too far.
I got nothing for this. Fuck me. Why didn't it
That's
fire?
alright.
Right. Give me invis, please. Thank you. Okay, I'm good. I'm watching.
Gonna go through church.
They're in a sniper nest. I don't know what we're gonna call that. One's right in front of me. I'm coming out to the mid. He's in sniper nest. I'm going through church behind you. Bodied. Behind me, behind me, behind me.
Damn.
Teammate, why are you hard scoping?
Yeah, that's your bad.
I'm pinned. Not anymore. I'm out. On my six, on my six. Bodied.
Ugh. He's speaking. And 3, 2, 1, he's speaking. Another guy.
Behind her.
To your left as well.
Yep.
I
I don't know why the teammate pushed up that way. That's fine. Coming to sniper nest. At least one is. I'm with you. Through doorway. I'm gonna get the res. Got the res.
Probably gonna get wiped next round.
Yeah. 0.17. I'm going up top.
I'm coming with you.
I missed. Missed. Oh, that. Ooh. Right side. Oh, come on.
Only one enemy remains.
Pushing, pushing, pushing. He's weak, he's weak. I'm pushing around back. We gotta get back to the bodies.
Yep.
I'm going back to him right now. Yep, he's going back for one.
1 minute. Opposing team is in ruins. You only have one life here, Guardian. Make it count.
How they not have a super yet? Nice. One left. Oh, nuts.
Yeah, when I ran through past you, I was weak.
How did teammate die? What the hell?
Fight again.
What was he doing?
I wonder. No. No. Okay.
I'm gonna make a
You're gonna what?
make a LFG post.
Okay, then I'll take us out real quick. If we're gonna do LFG, you want to jump into one of their PvP channels. That way we're not inviting them here. PvP room 3's open. 3-man.
Wait, where? Where do you see that at?
In the LFG? You're talking about Destiny 2 PC LFG, correct? Or are you talking in the disc? In Clan?
Because what we're reading now is PvP, right? I'm talking.
Oh, you're talking about within the Clan. Okay. Never mind.
Oh, not even that. I was looking on Bungie.net.
Oh! Well, yeah, yeah, I guess. We gonna try to bring him into the Clan?
Okay. Alright, so how do you do what you're talking?
What's up?
How do you do what you're talking about then? Just making a new server or?
No. So you know the Destiny 2 LFG, right? For Discord?
Oh, I didn't. No, I haven't seen that.
You haven't seen that before?
Mm-mm. Can you just send me the
Give me a second. Give me a second. I'll invite you. Cause I don't know like how I. Let me see. Wait, give me a second. Da, 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 da. Mhm. All right. So. Alright, so we're just getting one of my clanmates access to the Destiny 2 Discord, PC Discord, so it's gonna take a minute for anyone watching, which there isn't, just me. Keep an eye on chat. All
There we
right,
go.
sounds like you're in.
Jesus, that stupid.
It's stupid, but there is purpose. There is a purpose to it. But this is the Destiny 2 PC LFG that always has people on, and I mean always. You can pretty much find people for everything. So you just go to the. I'll promote you to lead on this one. There we go. You just go to the. Where is it? Crucible. Yeah, you just go to the PvP channels. Crucible, looking for group.
Okay, I found it.
Yep. And I recommend minimizing rooms you're not using at the time. Like I have all the raid rooms minimized. Pretty much everything I'm not using. Fire teams are all minimized.
Clicked on the wrong stuff.
You might want to tell them what room we're in.
That's good.
What's up?
Well,
Y'all got a code for me? Or?
yeah, give me a second.
Oh.
There it is.
Wait on that. Hold up.
Damn it.
Oh, y'all got a code. Sorry.
Yeah, I'm trying to find it.
I can give you mine.
1 second, I got you. I was just in
You just-
settings. I got
You
you.
just type you just go into chat. You type /ID and they'll show
Yeah,
up.
I know. I just sent it.
All right.
I was just tapped
Yeah.
out of the game.
You're good. What are y'all running right now?
I'm main loadout is what's it called Kindred Orchid and Revoker. Second loadout is Old Fashioned and a shotgun.
You got the Kindle working for sure. I have the kill clip rampage one, but just it didn't click for me for whatever reason.
Oh, I have That's one of mine. I'm actually trying to use Revoker Waking Vigil
That's the loadout right there. That's what I'm rolling with.
with my secondary being Duke and Badlanders. Just-
Badlander, interesting. Why Badlander?
well, I'm thinking with the changes, there's not going to be much of a difference between what the hell is it? Mindbenders and like a Badlanders.
Interesting.
Plus, my Badlanders has quick draw.
Yeah, no, I mean I have a Badlander's quick draw, but right now it's kind of a memey gun, so I don't know. But yeah, I mean it also the changes will be interesting for sure.
Yeah. Then I'm just running a rocket launcher heavy because I plan on not picking up heavy unless it's dropped on the ground in front of me or I need to pick it up.
Yeah, I'm really hoping they have the thing where you can wave and just heavy goes away. So we'll see.
It'd be really, really nice if they could just not put heavy in trials.
Yeah, I mean, does it have a spot in the game? Yeah, but if no one wants it, is it necessary? I don't think so.
Well, I mean, the top at least 25% of the top 25% players at minimum are all the ones that are calling for remove heavy. They're the ones that don't use it normally.
Of course.
I'd rather lose because I got outgunned than lose because
No, yeah, 100%.
I wish I had a Void Stompies.
Dude, I've ran the knife off so many times and I get the same shit over and over again. It pisses me off. Like, I'm looking for Ophidians or Sanguine Alchemy, and I've gone like 10 transversal steps, like 5 of Kara's spine helmet thing. It's super frustrating.
2 are
Midtown. I haven't been on this map
sniping.
in a minute.
2 thorns, 1 rose. What way do you want to push?
Gotta go rugs.
Dude, honestly, Midtown, just because it's not a survival map, I don't
Got
know
one
it
already here.
as well as
Oh.
as I could.
They're all 3 there. One's invis on my body, invis on my body. 2 on my body.
He's absolute by me. I got him. Oh, fuck, I have one on me.
Damn it. Dang it.
Fuck.
Problem is, I feel like this is what Trials is going to be. Just no real gunplay for the most part. Just sniping, shotgunning.
Yeah, I mean,
Got one jumping up top and mid.
yeah.
I'm weak. Oh, let's rotate to the right.
Yep. I'm on your 6.
They're chasing. Ooh, I don't know about that one.
Oh.
He's pushing with the shotgun.
How? Hmm.
Just trying to throw my grenade. That didn't work out.
Bro, this map is not it. Fuck.
All good, all good.
I'll go courtyard.
Yo, someone has
They're
like,
all rugs, looks like. Bodied.
fuck.
Nice.
Got one with- They can't get the res. He's burning on the res. Oh, his dodge thing saved him, bro. That's so dumb. Good nade. You can res me, DZ. Alright.
I'd rather go for your res right now.
Good shit.
Got two in mid.
Got the one.
One right on
Oh,
heavy.
damn it. Ah, he was on his body and I was up in midair when he came around the corner.
Bro, my melee's so fucking slow. Are you kidding me? Thank
Well,
you.
At least you're getting like a one. He's hard scoping.
Bro, I think he was aiming for you. Fuck.
Traded.
Fuck, they're both on my res. Yeah, I'm gonna throw in an auto rifle and mine benders. They're kind of aping.
Rugs.
Middle.
How the fuck?
He's burning, he's burning.
Two there. Oh,
Bro, he's so low as well. Good shit.
gonna check in mid.
Hit,
Got him.
I hit.
He's sniping my res. There's two snipers on it. They're auto scoping.
Super close to my super.
They push.
I hit two of them.
Okay.
That's no. It's just the flinch is annoying.
Dude, fuck. Oh, I just got res sniped.
Damn.
Damn, man.
That's unlucky. You're good.
Don't let them catch their breath. Teammates move. Pick them up. If an opponent stands,
Oh fuck, I'm not quite at my super and they have a Dawn
Yeah.
Blade. If
So-
let's play passive and see if they pop it early.
I think it's coming right now.
Oh, that's bad made, fuck. Let's run. Yeah, it's coming.
He's out of his super right by you. Move.
I'm in a smoke. Fuck. I'm so close. Come on. No way, dude. SJ is kind of nice with it, bro.
SJ.
Mm-hmm.
only 1 minute left.
Oh yeah, yeah. Guy's name.
Bro, he's using the Hero's Burden. What the hell?
Heroes Burn's actually not that bad of an SMG.
I have one, and I remember using it
It's
in
actually
Iron Banner a while back.
depending upon your role, especially with how Recluse got nerfed, it's actually fairly decent.
Alright. Yo, someone's got like a background noise.
You said a lot of background noise.
Are you okay?
Burnout.
Burnout, I fuck with Burnout. Burnout is a goated map, bro. You cannot convince me otherwise. Bro, this guy's got a Mindbenders with 1,000 kills, and he hasn't fully masterworked it because it's real. What a legend.
Eliminate your enemy and protect your team. Go.
Middle, one low middle. He's right behind the wall. He's going outside. 2 middle.
Bodied one. He jumped across. He's got Wings of Sacred Dawn. Oh, he got me. Fuck.
Ally is left.
I was hoping you'd push outside. That's why I backed up.
Fuck. I don't even know where I was. That's my bad.
All good, all good.
But victory is still in reach. Take it.
We got this for sure.
The enemy. You can change that.
Oh fuck. Yo, they're not on his res. Let's sit on his res.
Opponent left. They don't stand a chance. Guardian down.
Is he watching you?
He knows, but he's working with me outside.
Got your res? He's behind this big pillar.
Fuck.
He's moving towards the
I could use him. I bodied him. Nice. Using the Wissender for sure.
Oath Keepers.
Oh, okay.
Wish Ender and Oath Keepers.
With you in the match.
One dropped. Oh, one's all the way at the end. I bodied his ass. He doesn't want it. He doesn't want the smoke. Oh, this guy with this Luna Howl though. I'm super resable, I think. Jeez.
I know. I was watching the dude there.
Yeah, you're good.
He was hard. He was moved back into the room.
Nice.
Ow.
Your opponent is falling behind. Show them they can't catch up.
Oh, I dropped. That's awkward. Bro, they don't want the smoke in the middle anymore. Bodied one.
2
Awesome.
looks like right. One's far right.
Yeah,
One's far right.
don't use heavy though. Don't use heavy.
I tagged one right. 2 right.
Oh, there's a guy right on me. Hold up. Wait, where the fuck are... shit, I didn't realize you guys left middle. My bad.
I'm weak. I'm dead.
They don't stand a chance.
Fuck. Yo, they got a lever. Hold up. That's tough.
Ooh.
Oh, I was about to take hella long for this round, too. We're just gonna sit at the screen for a hot minute. Oh, psych? I'm not used to that.
What?
Like, usually when someone leaves, you sit at the loading
Okay, they're
screen
both middle,
for
up top.
that minute. I bodied one. I killed him. Oh my god.
Well, that was a thing. Oh, they got another lever.
R.I.P. Yeah, see, there's the wait time. I'm gonna
Yeah.
put some Mimi shit on right now. I don't have any Mimi shit. Just kidding. I forgot. I'm sweaty.
I am putting a Mimi. Oh, I think. Oh, okay, there we go.
I was like, I'm gonna throw in some wild shit, and then I was like, wait, I'm gonna swag. I looked at my options, it's like spare rations, mindbenders, Randy's. I was like, alright, fuck. Are we just gonna farm this guy real quick, or?
Yeah, I don't. Where is he?
GG's.
Utter threatening.
It's tough because they're all solos, though. Like, I get it. 0 comms and shit.
Huh? I
That
got
can't be fun.
power bonus increase.
Always love to see that.
Oh my god!
What's poppin'?
War. The blue gauntlets for hunters.
Oh,
32, 8, and 8.
gee, that's pretty hot.
Like if
I got some. I got something that's 23 mobility and 24 strength, bro.
move the thing I want to see.
Shit's nutty.
If I were just to do this, what would I be missing? I could throw on. What is this? Is it void? Is it? I always find that funny though. People go into a match, they win one round, and it's like, oh yeah, and then the moment they start losing, oh no, I must leave. What is the point
Dude,
of
I feel
that?
bad though. You were playing fucking solos though.
Yeah, but what's the point of leaving? You should try to tough it out, and the point is to try to win, because that's the only way you're gonna get better.
That's true. Damn, this got 2K on his mindbenders. Okay, I'm down with it.
Meltdown. Really, meltdown? Okay. Let's do it.
Elimination. If a teammate falls, pick them up. If an opponent stands,
Oh, fuck this man, bro. Hell nah.
Outside. One jump. Two inside, one outside.
No way he hits that. Silicon aroma. God damn.
that's all right.
Alright, we got clapped a little bit there. We're chilling
Damn, I
now.
was muted. I'm sorry.
You're good.
I think I've played Harmonies before. He's pretty good.
That was a beta ass nade. Holy shit.
One sniping on the left lane.
Two sniping
lane.
left lane. Yeah, right.
He's
right side.
absolute on me.
Nice tags.
Oh, I headshot one. He's absolute. Oh, he's absolute. He's absolute. He's pushing you. He's half health now. He's got shotgun out. Y'all can marry him. You can res me, I guess. Fuck.
Fuck.
Damn, he was one shot. Feels bad.
Your opponents are a step ahead, but only a step.
I'm going outside, I guess.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Did you just jump off the map? No, you didn't. Okay.
I did one. I got him.
Oh, did I just lag there?
Yeah.
Fuck.
All I know is it looked like one of you jumped off the map.
You're using the last word, bro. Come on, that shit's getting nerfed, bro. Put it away.
Well, I mean, only part of it that's really getting nerfed is the ADS. Up close, when you should be hip firing, I haven't done anything.
For real.
Up close, when you're hip firing it, it's not going to be any worse.
Did not know that.
One outside, two outside.
Hey, Harmony's. I think Harmony's in here with us though.
Yep, I tagged him.
Our no scoped one outside is absolute. I can't finish though. Thank you. I'm picking up
Okay.
heavy.
I'm
Yeah, I'm not
pushing.
using it though.
Harmony's near me.
Yeah, we're closing. Shit.
If I would, I should have ADS there.
We're fine. Y'all play Trials in D1?
Nope,
Yeah.
I didn't play D1 because of it was on console.
Valid reason. Yo, let's back up. I don't think that's a good spot.
I got one.
Oh, wow, okay. What air rifle you using?
Steel feather.
Steel feather
Behind
Peter,
us.
for sure.
Yep. Oh, up top. Oh yeah, I love this thing. Even though it's what, rapid fire? Yeah, even though it's a rapid fire, it still does so much damage at range.
Don't leave. Y'all are doing good.
I don't think any left.
Wait, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Fuck, I DC'd. I don't even know. I think it's Destiny servers, bro. Yeah, my Wi-Fi's fine.
Ugh.
Fuck.
It was
I should be
hard.
able to I should be able to rejoin.
Yeah, just
You guys
won't
just
be
play the
next
rounds.
round.
Oh no, it just kicked me out of Steam. Fuck, it's making me reboot from Steam, not me.
Oof. I'm weak. On me. Oh,
MC.
I was behind you. Nice. How did you do that? Oh, one of their dudes just rage quit. He just rage quit so hard. Why?
He probably wanted to be balanced.
I'm joining back in if Bungie lets me, or Steam lets me. Alright, I'm in, boys.
Nice. This is gonna take much longer to load now. Let's see if you're actually in on. Nope. Oh, damn.
I said I can't join because your activity's about to end.
It's because we're in the last. We're in what it considers to be a last round.
Alright, hold up, lose that round real quick. Oh, no, I'm joining. We're chilling. Hey, give me like 30 seconds on that round, boys.
Got one. Push out. Oh, we won.
I'm in, boys. Let me get those. I got the rewards, boys. That's what matters.
Hey, you're dead on our side. Nice. That's messed up. Oh, that's well balanced. 18, 19, 14. Actually, that's... Oh, it's fucking... It's better than that one, though. But that's 6, and that's fine. I'll get rid of that one.
Boys, I can probably roll for like 1 or 2 more games and actually got a dip, but...
Yeah, I got like 1 or 2 more as well.
Yeah.
Thank God Trials is a weekend thing. Work.
Yeah.
Nice thing about the steel feather I have here is it's a high cal.
Dude, I have it. What's the roll on yours?
Multi kill clip, ambitious assassin, high cal, small
Yeah, I'm
bore,
interested.
and
I got the.
range.
I'm rolling range, hammer forge, ricochet, feeding frenzy, and elemental capacitor. Dude, I love fucking feeding frenzy and having high handling. Like,
Yeah.
Got a Titan using Plague Lion.
Dead close.
Another one using Machine.
what I'm really sad about is a really long time ago, I had a tap trigger kill clip, half the MD, and I dismantled it.
Oh, dude, if I would love to pull out my kill clip, my half-den. Okay, one has Wish Under, so he's gonna know where we're at all time. He's running, probably running Oath Keepers.
The other
I'm
one
not
has
worried,
Hiding
bro.
Lion.
Oh wait, Wishender's one is running a sniper too. Hold up. I was not ready for that. Alright, I'm a.
What? I was in the middle of my dodge and invis.
Hell no, that did not touch me. Dude, how is that like hit registration? I was killed by the architects. That's a new one.
Wanna play the Wish Under game, buddy?
Fuck it, I'm pulling out the steel feather as well.
Oh, I switched to Wish Under.
I'm becoming a professional ape.
Wish Under shotgun.
That is true.
Honestly,
Yeah, you gotta be aggressive.
I play survival, or I play Elim too much like survival. I gotta get that mindset out.
Okay, they're not here. They're on the other side.
Towards A.
Yep,
Dude, I'm getting tags with my
They're all-
ricochets.
they're all on the... One's
Dude, I'm
there.
getting big ricochet tags. Hold up. Yeah, let's stay together.
Heavy, got heavy.
I'm on D's. Let's just regroup on D's.
Yeah, I'm coming back.
Oh man, I crit him, but he got me. Got me with the headshot. One's inside the building.
I shot him point blank.
No, bro. I'm so far behind the wall. Did you got a wish enders with explosive rounds? What the fuck?
No, they hit you with a fighting line at the same time. I watched it bounce.
Fuck, bro.
Go to the. What is this? Garage.
Fuck, I should put on transversal steps. Just sliding them. No way! That dude. Oh,
I'm pushing
just
to
one
you.
shot meleeed me. Fuck. He's on my. You guys can res me if he just wants to sit back there. Thanks.
Oh, I tagged him. He's down.
For sure, for sure.
How did I throw that grenade?
Yeah, if we just be aggressive, they're not gonna be able to stop us. Just gotta make it.
You want to be aggressive? Let's do it.
I'm down with it. Bro, y'all just want to ape that snipe spot to the left, like the ledge? No, not that one, the other one. You know, let's try, oh fuck, heavy's up.
I traded.
I'm lasering one down below. Got him.
See?
GG's.
They're probably gonna switch now.
Fuck. We just aping? Let's do it. Oh, I hit all three of them with my nade. Hold up.
Be careful, they have a Goldie.
I'm just aping, bro.
I think we all are.
Bro, they can't handle it.
That boat. The problem is with the Wish Ender, it is a very long draw time. So. And you have to ADS it, so.
Hey guys, the ledge to the left. Let's just run down it. Let's just eat their bullets if they're there.
Okay,
Yeah,
good.
they don't want it.
They're on me, they're running away. They can't run through that door. because they can't shoot the grenade.
Oh, fighting line boys off.
I'm gonna go underneath.
Sniper, hard scoping.
Alright.
He's watching my body. Don't go for it. Okay, he went inside the building.
Yeah, let's push them if they're in the building. I don't care.
They're both tagged.
Oh, they're on my nade, hold up.
I'm
Watch it for the Goldie. Yep.
Jesus, dude. We're running just all over these kids. Holy shit.
well, I guess apes win, right?
Bro, this is kind of disgusting, dude.
Yeah.
What their build is, it plays off of the other team being stagnant and not pushing because they're scared. And if you rush them, they can't do anything.
Are we playing a 3-stack?
Yeah.
Yep. You all push that way. I push the other way. Got steamrolled.
Yeah, let's back up. I have my super. No, what? Alright, yeah, I was running away. Okay, he wants it. Oh, fuck, you're getting shot in the back.
Oh,
Good shot, bro.
I hate when it doesn't connect the hit registration. It's kind
Yeah.
of bad.
melee registration is so bad in this. What way we going? Okay, got a couple on me.
Ooh, I'll head back to you.
They're shooting. No. Push around. I'm just sitting here to distract.
Okay.
I'm supering.
Okay, that's a
Golden
gold.
gun.
Oh, same golden guns on heavy. Firing lines almost down. Fuck. My orb is in the building. And so they're getting the res. Fuck. They got a barricade on it and shit.
Here's a missile.
Honestly, bait the missile this round, and then we're chilling for next round.
I'm gonna try to bait it. Ooh.
Hang on, back up. We have cap point, so you're gonna chill.
Are you gonna have Kellerson?
Soon. Got a little bit left. All they're doing is banking the fucking shots.
I mean, you gotta respect the geometry. He's just hard scoping with his bow, bruh.
Yeah, well, that's Oathkeepers for you. He knows exactly where you're at, and he's telling his team.
That was a big arc. Alright, hold up. Dude, I wish we had self-res. That'd be lit as fuck. Yo, dude, even if you get to trial or to sudden death,
Okay, one is on it. But they're all watching right there.
yeah, you're kind of fucked. Yeah, you're big fucked.
You got
Thanks for
two.
the super energy.
You got two of them. Okay, just a sliver.
Yo, I'm gonna go to outside. I'm gonna try to get there, like
Okay.
get close
I got my
before they
tether.
can set up.
Where do you want it?
I
Oh,
mean,
there's no way.
you gotta wait right now.
No.
I mean, no, go for it. Fuck.
Okay,
believe
the
you
one
can
that's
now,
left
right?
is
that me?
the one that's left is has Oathkeeper Wishender.
Dude, he just no-scoped me midair. No way. Dude, I was Icarus. You can get my res, by the way.
Coming to you.
He's weak.
Dude, I pushed him. I was Icarus dashing, and he just flipped. Wow, I give him respect for that. Alright, hold up. We just gotta make sure we protect the reses and ape this kid. He's not getting two no-scopes.
Nice.
Yeah. Oh, yo, that was a lot of. I'd be down to go one more. That was pretty fucking fun.
That dude was stupid popping that shit in that tunnel.
Yeah, dude, they honestly got carried, bro.
Well, the one that was
I
getting all the kills was the Wish Ender, because he
Yeah, I
knew
know for
exactly
sure.
where everyone was.
yeah. I wonder if they're gonna tweak that for trials.
Probably not.
No.
I mean, they're coming out with exotic nerfs this week, so
Like if they did that, they would have to nerf like all hacks abilities.
I mean, I don't know, like the Oathkeepers or whatever. It's just like you get the full outline with unlimited range. Like, look at Sanguine Alchemy. You get like a target, and it's within 30 meters. You know, which is a big difference. And you have to be in the rift.
No. So Wish Ender is not unlimited range. It's further than Sanguine Alchemy, but it's not unlimited.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. It's like,
Same guys.
I'm down with it.
let's see what map we get.
I know it's all about the map.
Because if we get something like Burnout, that Wish Ender bow isn't going to help him too much. It's too tight.
Dude, Burnout is such a goated map. I'm here for Rusted Lands though, and then the other Earth one. I can't remember the name.
Rusted Lands is going to be... so Altar of Flames is definitely going to be a pain. A little bit of a pain.
I don't mind Altar Flame actually.
I'm gonna snipe.
I got Pulse. No.
Elimination.
Dude, the bow is it's in his head, bro. Are you kidding me? The rules are simple.
They're probably coming outside. Yep. Come on, peek.
Wish Ender is bleeding or burning. Fuck, that didn't hit, bro. Oh wait, no, it did hit. I bought it, dude. I bought it the same guy twice, bro. Fuck off.
Oof.
I don't not
Wish
getting one.
Enders is such a pain in the ass.
Domed one. They're both on his res. I don't think they should be able to get it though. He's half. He's absolute. I got him.
Only 1 minute left.
I don't think if I'm Invis, he should be able to see me even with Wish Enders.
Oh, he domed me with the fake cries foul. Okay, buddy. Fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah, I should have said they were on me. I wasn't paying attention. Oh, he's teabagging me.
Oh, you.
Yo, you saw that shit? Hold up. I'm throwing Randy's on and the Mind Benders. Oh, I switched my Mind Benders too late. I have no ammo. Fuck. Alright, I'm gonna hit him with the Randy's, bro. He's not ready for it. Oh, fuck. That's two snipers.
Got one.
Oh, I'm lasering his ass.
Got two.
Nice. I don't have any ammo. Hold
He's
up.
weak. I'm pushing around towards him.
He
Nice.
jumped off.
Bro, I'm
Or-
telling you, they're not ready for the heat rises, bro.
Did he slide off or?
I don't think he meant to, but I don't know. I think he was trying to make sure that he didn't get hit when he got shot. Or when he jumped off. So that we wouldn't
Yo,
get the
I'm
kill
not gonna
with
peek
super.
staircase. Let's just prevent heavy. Oh yeah, let's all emo. Oh wait, I can't tell if they emote or not. Never mind. Fuck, I just missed those shots. Do we have a barricade? No, we don't. Yeah, they're watching my res actually. I'm behind the wall though.
Oh, damn it! He crossed in front.
I am potentially very. Oh, he's getting heavy. What a pussy.
He's just watching you.
Oof. Dude, that dude cheerly teabagged me. Come on, son.
I don't even know why. It's a tie game. Like, why are you debagging?
I know, and I'm not like running Lord of Wolves or some gay shit either. Oh, he's so lasered in there. Fuck. Fuck, good jump snipe. I give you that. I'm trying to get a little bit closer.
Hold on.
Oh,
That guy's tagged.
got one.
Oh, he tagged me. He got me.
Oh fuck.
They're both back there. They're going for the reds. They put up a shield.
Fuck. Dude, shield for res is kind of.
Damn.
Yeah.
Oh, only one shot
They're
though.
both right there. They're pushing up.
No, not. Dude, he killed me with a grenade. Damn. Teabag me again. I dare you. Yeah, that's what I thought, bitch. Fuck. I'm almost on my super.
Switching to poles. I'm gonna go outside.
Yeah.
I'm going far outside. Well,
Yeah, he popped that too early, I think. Yeah, he popped that way too early. Just chill out. Oh fuck. Maybe not.
He's coming around the right. So he's out of it. He's out of it. All three mid.
Got one. Oh, dude, no way he hits that, bro.
Oh shit.
That's tough. Fuck, we're down 4-2. Alright, big. He burned his super though. I can live with that. I got. Oh fuck.
I'm close to minus.
I'm about 20 seconds, I'd say.
I got 1/4 still.
Nah, let's just play this one farther back. They got a missile. I'm gonna have my super in a second.
I'm coming CDs.
Tagged with smoke.
Got one shot.
Got him.
Fuck. I got the bow guy
Come
near me.
on.
I'm popping super.
Nice, nice.
The missile time's absolute. No, dude. Oh.
He's coming.
That's a good play by him. You didn't get me. Oh, I'm getting farmed. Hold up. Fuck. Yeah, I'll get these. Alright. Alright, fuck. You got him. Where's the res? I see it. He's going for it? No way he gets that. Good play. That's clutch.
I got my super.
We all just jumped on him.
I should know where to put it. That's the problem. Where do we want to go?
We could play. So they already burned their supers. We could play for a zone if you wanted. Oh, I missed that, bro.
Tunnel, tunnel, tunnel.
Collapse on his ass. Ah, right there.
What?
Dang it.
I was behind the wall.
They're pushing it, yeah.
Yeah. Nice.
No, fuck off. Oh, he's getting the res, dude. Fuck.
Yeah.
That's tough. Alright. Oh, I'm getting teabagged again. What a bitch, man. I gotta roll, though. I gotta roll, unfortunately.
It's all good. GG's. It was good practice.
GG's, boys.
Yeah.
It was fun.
I'm gonna jump into a game just
Alright,
solo.
see you guys.
Take it easy, brother. One solo. No, no solo.